All right, what's up, guys? Hopefully, you guys can hear me good here. Um, we're trying this new stream setup today, so we're using the same camera that I used on my face for that interview. We're going to use that for the streams and see how well that does compared to the iPhone. What's up, Heaven? What's up, Metazoo Menace? What's up, Lordy Cardboard? What's up, Supper? What's up, SYC Gaming? Hollywood TCG? What's up? So I figured we should do kind of a little bit of a debrief live stream here. If anybody has any questions after watching the interview, or just general discussion about the interview would be cool. What's up, Richie, Sally, Zeke, Alec, Nogato? What's up, dude? Oh, thanks, man. You're looking dapper in that suit, boy. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. So we're going to open up a box of Nightfall, a box of Crypted Nation. We'll just talk about anything Metazoo that you guys want to talk about. And I do want to say I felt bad during that stream because so many people were donating. I did say in a couple previous streams right before this interview that I'm going to try not to look at chat and that we're probably not going to read the chat. And we're not going to take questions from the chat for the interview because we already had a pre-planned kind of list of topics that we wanted to hit and questions that he knew that he could answer. So we weren't taking questions from the chat. So I did feel bad. I saw a lot of people donating to ask a question. And obviously, there's a lot of stuff we didn't get to. Obviously, like the gameplay stuff. We didn't talk about the gameplay at all. That was one of the questions he couldn't answer. There's a couple things that we talked about beforehand. Obviously, I asked just about every question that I could possibly ask behind the scenes. But obviously, there was some stuff he just couldn't answer yet for various reasons. I don't know if I'm crazy about how often this camera like focuses and refocuses. Yeah, Funkle Slumpkin talking about the old stock. The inventory was one of the things that he couldn't answer questions on for this. You should really try to make this a regular thing, dude. You should be the face of Metazoo news in the YouTube space. I'm definitely going to continue doing what I'm doing, but I don't know how many more interviews I'll do. I'll do interviews with Charlie, but as far as like a broader interview sphere, I don't know. Charlie seems like a really good dude, though. I mean, what'd you guys think? I mean, this wasn't the first time that I had talked to him. I've talked to him before, so I had kind of an idea of his personality. He seems like a very energetic, outgoing, personable dude. I actually had no idea that he was our age. Well, he was younger than me. He's 30. I was thinking for sure he had to be in his 40s or late 30s. But he seems like a really good dude to me. He definitely passes at least the initial vibe check, I guess you would say. Yeah, I thought so too, Richie. That was something that I really wanted to ask. Richie says, I thought the best question that you asked was if Metazoo would be affected by his other business ventures, but he said he's all in on Metazoo. That was something I was very curious about and really wanted to ask. And I actually didn't have that on my pre-planned list of questions. By the way, again, how does the audio sound? And does this video look okay? We don't have the usual streaming setup here. The only thing I'm not liking so far is the focus changing. But hopefully there's no lags. Hopefully the audio sounds good. Hopefully this is much more consumable. Thanks, guys. That sounds great. Awesome. And see, I guess it refocuses pretty quickly, though. I'm sure there's probably some setting that I can go in and change to make this focus not such a big deal. For another stream, I guess. You think the lighting? You think that's causing the focus issues? I watched the first hour of the stream. I'll be buying the first base set when it comes out. Glad to hear that, man. I'll be buying it too. You forgot to ask Charlie if he thinks aliens are cute. I opened a CN2 NFT box earlier and got a full hollow moth, full hollow frogman, 2 full hollow chaos crystals, and only 9 full hollows, but they were all good ones. Nice. The shadows are pointing to the camera instead of having lighting behind you. Let's see. So you're saying I should put the light behind the camera? Because it is, I don't know. I keep forgetting that this is mirrored. Like the replay screen that I'm watching right now is like a mirrored version of the stream, so everything's backwards. Why would they care about Crypted Camp, says Zeke? I don't think they do. I mean, other than the fact that it seems like there's a few Metazoo artists that I'm sure they're going to want to be involved with Metazoo that are involved with Crypted Camp. Kelsey Giacchino is the main one that comes to mind. An Earth Aura from our box topper. I was very surprised as age 2 he was already established in Pokemon forums when I got back into WotC over a decade ago, meaning he was hustling at like age 17. Dude's got good future sight. Yeah. I think also the fact that he's so young, it does mean there's a good amount of longevity that he could run this thing for. I mean, Mike was young too. It's not like I think Mike was only a couple of years older than me. But I think it's good to have a young dude in charge. Not that there wasn't before. Thanks, Scared Soul. Nick, haven't watched the whole interview, but are they going to be partnering with someone like Rudy at all, or giving partners their own promos? I don't think they're. I don't think they've thought that far. Like, I just think there's some things that they just haven't thought about or haven't planned out yet. I don't think they have an answer for that. I mean, the set's not even done yet. I don't think they're thinking as far ahead as the Rudy stuff or partner promos. I think they're still in the relatively early stages of this thing. I think their main focus right now is just making this set as cool as possible and getting it done. I don't think they, the smaller stuff like that, I don't know how much they've thought about. And again, Charlie kept saying he doesn't want to make any promises that he can't keep. And that's part of why he didn't want to answer certain questions or couldn't answer certain questions, is because he didn't want to make a promise that turns out not to be true, or he didn't want to say something that maybe didn't come to fruition. And then it'd have kind of that same, over-promise, under-deliver feel like the old Metazoo had. So even though I feel like there was a good amount of questions that we didn't get to, I saw a lot of you guys' questions in the chat when I had the chance to glance over. I think that it's for good reason. I think he's being a little bit cautious about, like I said, he doesn't want to be like the old Metazoo. He doesn't want to say, we're going to do, this, and this. I've got all these grand ideas. Here's all these great things that we're going to do. And since they're not done, he doesn't want to promise something that's not done, not set in stone, and have you guys be disappointed. Which I think makes sense. Catching Cryptid says, Charlie has great energy, respectful, polite, believable. Yeah, he seems like a good dude. So without direct to consumer, I wouldn't think they would do partners. I like the Rudy promos, but I don't think Rudy wants back in. Sorry if it's been asked, but this won't go. I don't know. I don't know if they'll do a Kickstarter or not. That's not something we have talked a whole lot about. I doubt it. From what I understand, at least the base set that we're talking about, the base set is not going to be a Kickstarter. From what I understand, it's just going to be a regular set. I don't know that that means they would never do a Kickstarter, though. I'm sure it's always a possibility. It sounds like everything's kind of on the table. And I mean, some other stuff that we didn't get to were like specific questions. I had a lot of really specific stuff in there, like what's the MSRP? A lot of people wanted to know that. They couldn't answer that because I don't think they know. And again, they don't want to tell you a future price that might not end up being the price when it comes out. So it was the real specific stuff like that we couldn't get to a lot of that. And I think that's also why we didn't get to a lot of the gameplay conversation, because I just don't think that's stuff that they've got worked out. Metal Man of Alabama, full hollow, nice. If Lawcow didn't need a Kickstarter, then nobody should, says PB Magnet. Cojito says, my thoughts as well. Sounds like they got money, right capital. Starting. Yep. So I'm hoping a lot of you guys are at least feeling at least cautiously optimistic after that interview. Like I said, Charlie made a really good first impression on me the first time I talked to him, and it looked like, from what I could see in the chat while I was doing the interview, it seemed like he had a pretty positive impression on a lot of you guys too. He seems like a really good dude. Nothing but positive things to say about him so far. No, we did not talk about. When you say old stock, you're talking about the inventory, right? We did not talk about that in the interview. Snallygaster for a while. The 10-year plan got me happy. Yeah, I thought that was cool too. I was waiting for Nick to ask about the Revive boards. Remember, we both bought Redemption. Yeah. That, again, the old stock was one of the things I just couldn't comment on. Like I said, of course, all these questions and all the stuff that we talked about on the streams when you guys submitted all those questions, of course, I asked all these questions behind the scenes. They were just questions that there weren't answers for. So we kind of try to consolidate some of the best questions that he felt like he could actually give you a real answer to. And it still ended up going almost twice as long as we were planning on. So we said, we're going to do it at 7. We're going to cap it at an hour. So we kind of tried to work out these questions so it would be about an hour. It went almost 2 hours. And it had way more people watching it than I thought was going to tune in. By the way, who's hyped about the idea of an anime? I think everybody was hyped about that. Mike said the same thing about an anime. PB Magnet says first set will stink, no doubt. You think so? Do you think Mike watched the interview? 100%. I mean, you guys heard it straight from Charlie. They're not even in communication with Mike. So all these plans that Charlie has and stuff, that's not something that has been shared with Mike, to my knowledge. So Mike was probably learning all that stuff for the first time on that stream as well. I don't think the first set's going to stink, though. I really like the idea of not limiting the art to one specific style and having different types of cards. And he even said potentially, full arts and alt arts in that very first base set, which I thought was really, really cool. My personal speculation on what it's going to be, this base set, I think it's going to be like the original Cryptid Nation, but on steroids. I think a lot of those star cryptids are going to be in the base set, like all the big main characters that we're familiar with. But I think it's going to be a reimagination, probably multiple artworks, different types of rarities, the full arts, the alt arts, just different style of artwork. I think it's going to be like Cryptid Nation, but on steroids, is what I think. And of course, I don't know that. This is just pure speculation. He still hasn't told me, even off the record, what which cryptids are going to be involved in this set, so I have no idea. But I have a feeling we'll find out soon. Stonk, not stink. Oh, my concern is also a Q1 release. I mean, think about it. They can get stuff done quicker than the old Metazoo because they have way more. They have everything in place to get this done as quickly as possible because of the connections that they have. And again, this is not going to be a printer in China. It's going to be like one of the best printers on earth right here in the States. But me and Charlie are going to remain in communication. And I'm sure there's going to be more stuff that comes up in the coming weeks or months that he'll share with me, and then I'll share with you. And like I said, I think a lot more of these questions are going to get answered. It's just a matter of time. Like even today, one of the questions that I had was the exact release date, and it was just another one of those things where he doesn't want to say a date and have it turn out to not be that date, even though he might know what he thinks the date's going to be now. Again, he doesn't want to give you guys anything concrete that might not come to fruition. So that's why there was kind of a lack of very specific answers or very specific questions. But I think it makes perfect sense why. Kohita says, Nick, sincerely, though, thank you for that interview, the foresight to plan the questions out and get us information. We really appreciate it. Thanks, man. No problem. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I wish I could move this chat. Since I'm not on my phone anymore, I don't really like having to look over at this computer screen to see the chat. Nick Strength and Metazoo. Nick, I was confused on the sale of the new base set. All he said was we could get it through distribution, but what exactly does that mean? Only through the LGSs. I guess I don't know. I don't know exactly what that meant. That's true. I could just open my phone and read the chat. Let's see what we got. Big news was global release. Interested in where they're going to distribute. Yeah. I think they'll have enough to get back into Walmart. What's up, Raw Pranks? Okay. There we go. Japanese Metazoo cards would be crazy looking. I don't think for the base set there's going to be multiple languages. I don't know, though. I don't know. I guess these are kind of the more specific things about a global presence and a worldwide release. When are they going to start doing multiple languages? Will it be right off the bat, or will it all be in English, just available worldwide? Who knows? Thank you, Complex Sniper. I think people had hopes for the old card, then vintage now. There wasn't much hope, in my opinion, with the new owners. Yeah, that's totally fair. I mean, I agree with you, PB Magnet. Believe it when we see it. Like I said, though, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm going to kind of reserve total judgment until we actually have the product in our hands and see what's going on. Jay Worry says packs will be sold at Arby's. Arby's when? Arby's soon. eBay will be the main place people buy it. I guess we'll see. I am very curious to see what happens with all this. I'll definitely be buying a few boxes, probably more than a few. I'm curious to see what the price point's going to be. All that stuff. I think 7-Eleven will be selling them, says Heaven here. Would be cool if they sent you the base set. I hope they send, even if it's just like one pack, maybe a month or two early, just something small, just to give you guys a little teaser. And I think they probably will. I think they want to build a hype that way through like little kind of dribbles of information versus big over-promising campaign. Sinkhole Sam, full hollow. The hype when the new set drops is going to be fucking insane. I think Metazoo will have at least a temporary, pretty big comeback with the FOMO stuff and with the hype. It's just a matter of whether or not they're able to sustain that and keep delivering good product on time and kind of regaining that trust. I'm kind of interested to see what happens, though. I do think in the very near future there's going to be a big FOMO wave crashing on the secondary market. And by crashing, I mean in a positive way. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be scooping stuff up. First set will stonk. Then we'll be back at square one. I don't know. I think the hype will probably carry into the second set. I think when you're talking about set 3, 4, 5, more extended into the future sets, I think that's when they're really going to have to really deliver to maintain the momentum, but I think the first 2 sets will be hype. As long as the first set is good, I think the second set will kind of carry that same hype will kind of carry into that second set. If I were you guys, though, I would focus mostly on tops. If I'm going to pick up anything sealed, I would be picking up tops. I'm very reluctant and very hesitant to pick up any of the sealed sets that were printed at the other printer. Like, I think there's a reason they've shifted to this new printer, and I think there's a genuine concern about the old printer. Like I said, just kind of reprinting stuff, or just even in the vague sense of not even really knowing the numbers of what's already out there. I don't think the real print run is known to anybody of any of these sets. How do we know what the real print run of Kickstarter even was? How do we know how many sample cards were actually made? And especially sets like Cryptid Nation First Edition. So say the new Metazoo takes off, right? And you have a collection of PSA 10 First Edition Full Hollow Mothmen, and that price starts to go up on those Mothmen because the new Metazoo's taking off. What is stopping that printer from just printing sheets of Mothman cards, Full Hollow Cryptid Nation First Edition, just make them the exact same way they made the original First Edition? They've got all the files, they've got the same paper, the same ink, same card stock. What's to stop them when the price goes up on a card that they have all the files and supplies for, from just printing a bunch and leaking some onto the secondary market? And what kind of preventative measures does a grading company really have if it was the same printer printing it? Is it really a fake if they use the exact same method to print it and it's like identical to a first edition Mothman? So any of the sets like that, like what we're opening right now, I'm very hesitant to buy more of sealed. But Topps, on the other hand, was distributed and printed by Topps. So you don't have that same issue of worrying about the printers. PB Magnet, I agree. He says they need to start advertising right now, running a massive marketing campaign. So here's the thing. I guess it depends how you define a massive marketing campaign. I don't think they're going to spend a bunch of money on the marketing campaign for the first release. I think most of their money and their time and their resources for this first set are going into the development of the first set. And I think they're going to let the quality or the product speak for itself. And then I think maybe in the future they'll do different marketing pushes. I think they are going to market this, but I don't think there's going to be crazy money and time and effort spent on just the marketing. I think most of all the resources right now are just going into getting the set out. And I think this probably was day one, probably the first step in that marketing campaign, since this was like their first public interview as the new owners of Metazoo. So I'm sure, like I said, in the weeks and months to come, you'll probably be hearing more from me of something that I heard from Charlie, or Charlie will probably come back on and maybe leak a card here, something. And the card leak will happen, by the way. It's just a matter of when. It wasn't tonight, but it's a matter of when, not if. We will get that card. Before everything's announced, we'll leak a card. Couldn't new Metazoo sue even for IP infringement, printing old counterfeit cards? No, I don't believe they can. The way that Charlie explained to me how the buy actually worked, what Charlie actually bought, that didn't give him the right to pursue legal action on behalf of product that was made by the old Metazoo. And honestly, I really don't know all the specifics of international lawsuits. I don't know how difficult it would be. Probably pretty difficult to have a civil court case with a Chinese company. I don't know how that would really play out. I have no idea. A tease, we'll call it. A tease. Tease instead of a leak. Hey, Robert. Robert says, hey, Nick, thanks again for the awesome stream with Charlie. Answered a lot of questions I had. Awesome. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate how many people showed up for that stream. It honestly, like, still, I'm mind blown that there was over 1,000 people. I believe the peak concurrent viewer number was 1,338. 1,338 people viewing live concurrently on that stream. By far the biggest stream I've ever had on this channel. And honestly, it might even be the biggest stream I've done, because I did one stream where I opened some cards on my main channel, which has over 1 million subs. And I don't think even that stream got more than 1,000 live concurrent viewers. And it was kind of funny too, because right before we got on, we were talking for a little bit, just a couple minutes before we started the stream, and Charlie kind of made a comment like, wouldn't it be funny if nobody even watches this and, you know, it doesn't really become a story? And sure enough, it's like the biggest Metazoo stream of all time. But I guess now would probably be a really good time to double down on my my invitation also extends to Mike. If Mike Waddell wants to come on and share his story. Medium's third eye. I would honestly just be interested in just hearing Mike's thoughts about Charlie, about the bankruptcy, about the sale, and about the future. Just now that we know for a fact Mike has no involvement with the new Metazoo, I'd be curious just to hear what he thinks about it. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably like, no, fuck Mike. We don't want to hear from Mike. I think it would be interesting just to hear what he thinks about the future now that he's kind of in a completely isolated position from that future. Richie said, now that would be the what if no one watches stream. I don't know about Andy. I would assume he's also not involved. But honestly, I don't know. You know, Charlie did make a comment during that interview about one of the cards that Afton did. I don't know if Afton and Andy are still together or what, but I guess it's possible that Afton could be one of the artists that's returning. And maybe with her, would Andy come? I don't know. I'm with AGOT on this one. What did he say? Having Mike on the stream is like asking Bill Cosby, why did you do it? I'd be more interested to see if Mike comes on and tells his story, if he actually tells the truth. Because I think the Metazoo story is so interesting. To tell it properly, you really do have to hear it from Mike's perspective, like throughout the bankruptcy process. And like I said, it stops on the sale and stuff. But I'd be curious what Mike has to say about the downfall of Metazoo, how the bankruptcy went, the new owners, just to get that side of the Metazoo story. Whether it's believable or true or not, I guess will be up for debate. But I feel like to fully tell the Metazoo story, you'd have to get an interview with Mike now that he's out. Katie says, ask Mike to show receipts on how much he personally pocketed when all was said and done. Well, that's kind of what I'm alluding to, PB Magnet. I'd like to hear more about the partnership breakup or fallout between Mike and Aoki. I want to hear that story. The story that it seems like we just haven't heard officially yet. We've kind of heard through the rumor mill that that was the case. But the beautiful thing is, I feel like now we can look back with like a hindsight is 2020 perspective, because none of this really matters now. Now we know who the future of Metazoo, who is holding the future of Metazoo in their hands. We know that Mike is out, so it doesn't really matter what happened with the downfall of Metazoo. It would just be interesting to hear that perspective, because all that stuff is just in the past now. But it is a part of the story that I want to hear about. I don't think Aoki would ever come on. And I think I heard that Hero Quest, the whole Hero Quest thing was a big part of it. I wonder how Hero Quest is doing right about now. I'd like to know more about the Hero Quest and Metazoo story too. I mean, very clearly kind of in competition with each other, right? Was the original art that Mike and Bailey sold on Whatnot months ago stuff that should have gone to the new owners? According to Mike, it's from his personal stash. It was his personal collection, not owned by the company, owned by him. But again, that's according to Mike. But at that point, Mike didn't have access to the warehouse. And the warehouse was essentially the inventory that got turned over as part of the bankruptcy. So I don't think there's any possible way that Mike would have been able to go to that warehouse, because at this point, him and Shaw were feuding. I don't know how Mike would have been able to go to the warehouse and take anything out, because this was after they gave Mike that ultimatum of pay like $60,000 in warehouse fees, then you'll get your product back, like the whole lien and all that stuff. So I don't think Mike would have had access to anything in the warehouse. So I'm assuming that kind of supports his story that it was his personal stash. PB Magnet says samples will gain value, playtesters, trophy cards, promos. Like I said, I think there's going to be a period of time where everything gains value, but I'm just thinking about long term, how much of that stuff is susceptible to shady business by the printers. Event HQ has a few more Nightfall boxes listed on eBay. They're only going up. What are they charging? I might pick up some if they're that same price that they were. I thought they have copyrights on the OG art through the bankruptcy. My understanding is the copyrighted stuff is the digital files that were turned over. Reverse giant salamander. And that's totally possible too, PB Magnet. It's totally possible that we have nothing to worry about and they never reprint anything. But it's just that possibility that lingers in the back of my mind that they could. Joke's on them. I have the original art for Kentucky Hellhound. They can take it from my cold dead hand, says Cheese. So what do you guys think about Crypted Camp now? All right, Cojito, have a good night, man. No problem. And I hope to bring you guys some more information. Like I said, I hope I got to answer or got some of the questions answered that you guys had, and hopefully in the future we'll answer a lot more of them. But I did the best that I could for tonight. CC is an L. CC is dead on arrival. Cryptid who? What is Crypted Camp? Crypted Camp is doing. In a way, I feel bad for Crypted Camp because here's what I'm thinking. I think they started Crypted Camp thinking there's absolutely no way Metazoo comes back. I think they never saw this coming. And they thought, well, now there's going to be a gap in the market for people that want these, people that like cryptids and want a cryptid trading card game. So we're going to fill that gap with Crypted Camp. And I feel like this is like the worst possible scenario for them. Because apparently their Kickstarter just launched too, right? And then all this all this news about the future of Metazoo comes out like right at the same time as their Kickstarter. I feel like it's like the worst possible scenario for them. So I do kind of feel bad for them. But I said from the beginning, I wasn't a huge fan of the artwork and the reimagination that they had of the cryptids, and it just felt like kind of a Metazoo clone. Did Menace say how much they were charging on there? I guess I'll check it out. I do have my phone, so let's see. Crypted Camp. Event HQ. Metazoo. Yeah, 40's not bad. Looks like they've got Wilderness for $18.99, Cryptid Nation Second Edition for $18. That seems a little high. 5 UFO booster boxes for $50. 5 Seance boxes for $150. Yeah, they've got a lot of Metazoo stuff back on here. What's up, Greg? They have 5 boxes of Nightfall for $179.99 as well. That's not bad. I'll probably pick some up. Another Bigfoot full hollow. You can never have too much Nightfall, right? That is kind of the thing. It's been so cheap for so long now that I feel like what TMX said, we all have these cards at this point. Like we've all pulled every card how many times over by now? I'm sure everybody has opened every single set multiple times. Outside of chasing a secret rare, it's almost just kind of redundant. I got that vibe too, man. Zell's TCG says Charlie genuinely seems as excited as we are. I definitely got that vibe too. He seems really stoked, and he seems like he's genuinely he's genuinely a trading card enthusiast is the vibe that I got. He's like legitimately one of us. And again, I want to say I really appreciate his time and the fact that he came on. And I could tell that you guys appreciated it too. So I appreciated that you guys were showing him love in that chat. I don't really know what to expect, honestly. When I went into that stream, I was kind of thinking, is there going to be like a bunch of negativity in the chat? Are the Metazoo haters going to come out and like spam that this guy sucks, new Metazoo's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. But I was very pleasantly surprised with the sheer volume of people that were in there and the volume of people that were positively contributing to the conversation. I think the community really showed up for that, and I think it really is kind of a proof of the point that he made of how resilient the Metazoo fan base really is. For a TCG that has been quote-unquote dead for almost a year now, that volume of people showing up on a stream, just interviewing some dude that buys Metazoo or bought Metazoo, interviewing a dude that bought the company or bought the IP. I think it's pretty shocking that many people turned up for that, for what is supposedly a dead card game. Because me personally, I don't watch very many podcasts that are like business related. I find them very boring. People talking about business plans, and just, I am very surprised that many people showed up, but I think it's very reassuring. What's up, Creepy Clay Cave? Hi, Nick. Thanks for having the interview, man. It was really interesting to hear. Thanks, man. Thanks for watching it. I was amazed, too. There was only like 18 people when I got in that stream. 1.3K people were more behaved than that 300-person Pokemon stream. Very true. I think what it really is so many people in the Metazoo community have gone for so long without hearing anything from anybody that was in a management position at Metazoo. It's been so long that nobody has had answers. The fact that there was finally like a direct line of communication, live interview with the new manager, owner of Metazoo, answering all your questions was like, I think, a big sigh of relief to a lot of the community that's been just kind of left in the dark for the last year. I think people were hoping they would finally get some answers, and I think they did. We're definitely going to do a horse race tonight, bro. We'll do one in between this box and the Nightfall box. Quetzalcoatlus full haul. Are we going to go another full box of first edition with no Mothman? Fine, Menace. You convinced me. I'm going to get on and buy a 5-box set right now. Give me a sec. Five more boxes of Nightfall never hurt anybody. There we go. They had like 75 boxes of Nightfall when you were live. Last time I checked, shit's selling. Burn it. I don't know. Medium's third eye. And I do want to clarify a point about the printers. I'm not saying that I think that the Chinese printers would do this with a TCG that they're actively printing, that they actively have a relationship with. I don't think they're that shady. My point is more just the fact that now that the Metazoo that they dealt with and they had to deal with and they were working with, that Metazoo is effectively gone. There's a new owner that they don't have any deals with, they're not working with, etc. I feel like the door is open a little bit now for them to take a look at what's happening with the secondary market if this new Metazoo takes off and the old stuff goes up in value. Not saying they would do it, but it seems like it's plausible. They've done some shady stuff already. I mean, the fact that they're trying to like backdoor sell the inventory that they had, even in the middle of the bankruptcy process, they were on Alibaba trying to solicit buyers for a product that was part of this bankruptcy proceeding. They were already violating the law with that. So now that the bankruptcy's done, I mean, what's really stopping them? And I'm not saying it will happen. Like I said, I'm not saying I think they would do that with a TCG they actively have a relationship with, but the point is their relationship with Metazoo is effectively dead. And I don't know what agreements, if any, they had, if those stand up. I just don't know. TMX Comics says, my favorite part was when Charlie told you what I said yesterday. Nick, you stayed with us all through the closure. Thanks, man. Do you think he got product from them, or do you think they still have it? Do I think who got product from them? Charlie? Do I think he got product from the printers? Metazoo Menace in your market video, someone snatched up a PSA 10 Alt Art Moth X Fractor for super. Yeah, that was a steal of a deal. A steal of a deal. And I also feel kind of bad now that I didn't tell Charlie ahead of time that I was going to dress up and wear a suit, because he did make a comment about that when we were off the air. I feel kind of bad now. I just wanted to represent you guys well. This is like the first time that we're directly talking to the owner of Metazoo kind of as a community. I'm asking your guys' questions on your guys' behalf. I didn't want to show up in like a gym shirt and a backwards hat. I wanted to represent the community well, so I tried to dress nice. But I guess it was probably a little bit overkill. But I felt like I was kind of representing the community, so I didn't want to come on and give a bad look, bad representation. I wanted to make the community look nice. I hope he makes you the Bailey of Metazoo. I don't think that would be a good thing. I can't tell if that's a compliment or not. Piazza Bird Full Hollow. Unexpected. I appreciate you guys, man. I want some more information on the gameplay at some point. I agree. I want that information too, but I totally understand why they don't have that information yet. Because keep in mind, the set's not done yet. I don't even think they have all the mechanics and stuff worked out for the gameplay. Again, I don't know, but I think it's kind of the same in line with not making a promise that they don't end up keeping. I don't think they want to talk about, potential tournaments or potential prize money or anything specific like that. If they don't know for sure, they don't want to get your guys' hopes up and then not do it. And I think that's a big reason we're not hearing a lot about the gameplay yet. And I don't think they want to come on and say, these are the mechanics of the game. This is how it works. And then if they end up changing something before it comes out, then they kind of have egg on their face and it makes it look like they weren't honest. Uncle Sam. So I get it. But like I said, trust me, behind the scenes, I asked essentially every question that you guys asked in the chat, and I got kind of a yes or no, how much can you answer about this or that before we even did this. And again, to Charlie's credit, he went twice as long as we agreed upon. So I think he really, and he is a talker, so there's that too. But I think he really made a solid attempt to really explain every answer to every question. And I felt like he was really trying to share as much as he possibly could at the time. I feel like he was really trying to give very detailed responses. And so I'm appreciative of his time because I feel like he really wanted to try to communicate as much as he possibly could to you guys in the time that we had. And he did, like I said, he doubled the time that we agreed on, which I was grateful for that. I thought it would go for less than an hour, to be completely honest. The hour was the cap. I didn't know how quickly he was going to answer those questions. He could have just, buzzed through them and we were done in half an hour. I didn't know. Pokey Barnes says, I just finished the interview. I'm a little drunk now, so I won't comment other than I thought it was preset. What do you mean? I think he was really into it and seems to love Metazoo. I think so too. Just got done watching the interview. A lot more optimistic than I thought it'd be. Great. I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm stoked for the gameplay. Being ground floor for TCG launch is the best. It gives people time to adjust and build starts. I'm sure the gameplay will be a lot easier to pick up. Metazoo went crazy trying something new. Like they'll probably do tournaments, but not the prize pool like that. Thanks, guys. See, I appreciate the positivity. And I think there will be a follow-up. There will be a follow-up interview when he's able to answer more of these questions. And whether it's on my channel or not, I think as this information is learned by him, it'll slowly start to come out, whether it's here or not. And I think he is going to make an effort, it sounds like, to do some content with other channels and stuff. I think that'll be good too. And maybe there'll be some more answers and some more information mixed in with those. Yeah, shout out to Tormentic, man. Sorry, I meant to say the outlook seems good. Awesome. I'm excited too, Pokebarn. Yeah, you're telling me, bro. Goblin NPC says 1.3K was wild. It was fucking wild. I honestly couldn't believe it. And I do pretty crazy numbers on my main channel. I couldn't believe 1.3K on this channel, live concurrent viewers. Epic Tube, what's up, dude? Missed the interview, but couldn't have been luckier to nab Charlie. Does change my feelings for sure. Charlie, yeah, he seems like a great dude. But only time will tell. We'll see. As optimistic as I am, I like to say cautiously optimistic because I'm hesitant to fall into the same trap as with Mike. I mean, I was very eager to believe all the promises that Mike had too, because I wanted to believe them. So I'm being a little bit cautious here because Charlie seems like a great guy. He seems very honest, very charismatic, very smart guy. But again, I want to believe what he's saying. So I've got to be a little bit careful there because I am optimistic, but I have that same feeling as with the old Metazoo, is I want to believe they're going to do things right. They're going to fix things. It's going to be better. So you've got to be a little bit kind of careful with that, I guess, because it does feel very similar to that. I want him to be telling the truth, so I'm kind of in my mind inclined to believe that he is. Charlie is a businessman, but I think he'll do what he says. I think he's the right kind of businessman too. He seems to have a very collector oriented brain. He definitely seems like he's just one of us. He's really fun to talk to, honestly. He made the interview really fucking easy because I would ask, a relatively simple question, and he'd give a really long, detailed explanation. He is a good talker. I got to give him that. He's very easy to talk to, very easy to interview because when you ask him a question, he just goes, and you've got good content because he just goes and goes, and he doesn't go in a boring way. He's like very charismatic as he's speaking. Oh, was that you, Greg? Started hustling likes and the viewership exploded. I was shocked because I wasn't paying too close attention to the number. I saw someone in the chat say the 1,300, and then I looked at it and I realized there was 1,300 people watching, but I can't see the likes. And I was pretty surprised when I went back and I was watching some pieces from the replay. I was a bit shocked that it already had, like right when I ended the stream, it had like 710 likes, which is a lot for this channel. Snallygaster full hollow. I mean, and it was 100% when the stream ended too. It was 100% likes. There were no dislikes. Like, you can go in on the back end and see how many dislikes there are. When that stream ended, it was 700 something likes, 0 dislikes. But the ratio of likes to views was fucking crazy because that stream ended with like 1,500 views at the time. I don't know how accurate that was because maybe it's still calculating the total views because that was a lot of concurrent people. But anyway, when I ended the stream, it said 1,500 total views. But that means 1 out of every 2 people that watched that stream hit the like button, which is crazy engagement. And then I went back on the back end just because the chat was going so crazy during the stream. I was kind of curious to go on the back end and look how crazy was the chat. There were almost 7,000 chats submitted during that stream, which is like mind-blowing to me. The engagement was pretty crazy. You guys left us hanging. We would have been there forever. Man, honestly, by the end of it, I was ready to get off there and eat something. I haven't eaten all day. I haven't even really drank any water or anything. And I thought, oh, it's going to be kind of quick. It's only an hour. And by the end of that thing, I was fucking starving. I wanted to get off and make some dinner and kind of chill for a minute. But I am glad that it went as long as it did. I feel like it was better for you guys. I feel like you probably got some more out of it by going a little bit longer. Studio Lemmy says, I just recently found you as well and felt your vibe was really good, so I stayed. I appreciate that. Thanks, dude. I meant to ask you guys this last night because my new obsession right now. Does anybody else watch the show Fish Tank? Fish Tank Live. The new season just started, and I am obsessed with it. Yeah, we're going to do a horse race right after we finish this first edition box. We're only 5 months away from Metazoo. Earth's Core. Man, this has been kind of a lackluster box. No Sam, no Mothman, no Frogman. Yeah. Airsoft Fatty, I believe, is going to be on the show. Bert is the best. Yeah, so you guys do know what I'm talking about. If you guys don't know what Fish Tank is, it's like a very niche internet kind of pseudo reality show. And you can buy like a season pass and you can view 24/7. It's like looking at the Ring app. If you guys have Ring cameras in your house, they basically rent a house, put all these people in it that are kind of developmentally challenged. Probably most of them are autistic, like not normal people. They're kind of weird, interesting, quirky people. They put them in a house. It's like a fake game show, and you can view the cameras 24/7, but it's like completely uncensored on the cameras. Like you see people naked. There's like they can say whatever they want. You hear like N bombs, F bombs. There's nudity. It's like very, very weird. Feels very dark web, illegal to watch type shit. But the comedian Sam Hyde is the guy that created the show. It's really fucking entertaining. And this new season is like the characters are just nuts. Like the guy that someone mentioned earlier, Bert, he's schizophrenic and he is a gay black prostitute named Bert, and he's super jacked too, but he's a schizophrenic gay black prostitute that's super jacked and also kind of autistic. It's a crazy show. I literally watched it as much as I could. Yeah, Fish Tank season 1 was sick too. Oh, and I should mention the thing about this season is they don't know that they're being live streamed. Like this whole thing is live. We're watching them live. They don't know that we're watching them live. I think that is probably the main part that I should mention. That's like the main appeal. They think they're filming a reality show. Like there's a camera crew there with them, but they don't know it's happening live on the internet. So everything they say and do when the cameras aren't around, they don't know that everything they say and do is live on the internet as they're doing it, which is crazy as hell. And I don't even know how it's legal, to be completely honest. And the game show that they think they're on is not real. It doesn't exist. They think they're on a reality show called Famous House, but they're not. It's all gaslighting and lies, and they don't know they're being. It's fucking crazy. I highly recommend it. You can watch recaps on YouTube for free, and I think the Fish Tank season pass is like $60 to have all access to the cameras for a year. It's like $60 a year. But it's just addicting because there's always something happening on the cameras, and there's people that make like these nice, like edited, tightly packaged like episode. They're gonna do official episodes like from the real cameras on their YouTube channel. There's like all these fan channels that take all the live footage and kind of consolidate it down to a nice, tightly packaged episode day by day. And this is 6 weeks long, 24/7. So every single day, there's like a new episode. It's crazy. It's fun. Yeah, I love Legion of Skanks. I just saw Sam was on there recently, wasn't he? I was watching a lot of the Skankfest stuff. There's been a lot of videos stuff that happened on Skankfest recently. I didn't get through the whole interview, but did he discuss what are their plans for the product they bought? He did not discuss that, and I don't know what the plans are. I did ask that question off camera. I did not get a direct answer to that. I agree 100%. Zell says the fact that Charlie basically stayed double the amount of time he was supposed to and really talked to the community meant a lot, in my opinion. It showed he wasn't trying to rush through it. I agree. He was very generous with his time. And even the other video call that I had with him maybe a week ago, he was very generous with his time. We talked for quite a bit then, too. I have no idea. I really hope that Argos at least makes a video. I don't know if he's on board. I don't know if he's into it. Ooh, last pack magic with a Mothman on the last pack of the box. Sick. I don't know if he's on board or not, but I would like to see him make a video at least reacting to some of the stuff that Charlie said. I'll just like to hear what Argos thinks about the chances that Metazoo may or may not have going forward. I mean, I love Argos, man. He was one of the best. He was definitely a pillar of the Metazoo community. I was very sad to see him go. I enjoyed his videos probably the most. And he was definitely the first YouTuber that I started watching when I started collecting Metazoo. It was definitely him that was posting like really, really regularly from the very beginning. So he's definitely missed. All right, let's do a horse race. Let's give away a slab too. Oh. Man, I'm tired. So we'll give away one of the very first ever 10s, a DSG Gem Mint 10, number 27 out of 100, serialized, pre-release, full hollow. Need a piece of paper here to write down some names for this horse race. Give me a second. All right. All right, Zeke, I'll throw you in there. I'm just going to throw in some people that I'm seeing in the chat. Some names that I've been seeing all night. I'll put TMX in here, TMX Comics. Raw Pranks. I believe it was you that was the first person to ask about a horse race, so it's only fair we put you in there. Goblin, I've been seeing you all night. Zach collects cards. And SYC Gaming, I've seen you a lot tonight. I apologize for my horrible handwriting. I guess you can see that there. All right, so number 1 with the Black Horse, Zeke 1993. Number 2, TMX Comics, The Orange Horse. Number 3, Raw Pranks, The White Horse. Number 4, The Purple Horse, Goblin NPC. Number 5, The Blue Horse, Zach Collects Cards. Number 6, The Red Horse, SYC Gaming. Gentlemen, for the DSG 10 promo card, go. Three takes it. Raw Pranks, man. Congrats, dude. And even though I believe you've won before, just resend me your address anyway. Otherwise, I'll forget. Let me get this in an envelope for you, buddy. Congrats. Requesting that horse race really paid off for you there, bud. All right. Nightfall. Man, I just realized we've got 250 people watching this stream now. A lot of spillover from the interview. And by the way, if anybody hasn't watched the interview yet, if anybody, as you're watching the interview, has the time or feels compelled to timestamp some of the questions or talking points and leave that in the comment section, I would greatly appreciate that. And I'll take that and I'll add it to the video so people that are watching can click through the segments that they want to see. So if you haven't watched it yet and you feel so compelled that as you're watching, just write down some timestamps and put them in the comments of key moments or questions or whatever, I would really appreciate that. I might just do it myself. I might rewatch it tonight, but I feel like I'm getting tired. I don't know how late I'm going to stay up, if I'm going to stay up another 2 hours after this stream and rewatch that and do timestamps, but I will rewatch it at some point. Starting off with a Full Hollow Thunderbird. And shout out, as always, to LawCal TCG for making these giveaways possible. Thank you, Laura, for sharing that link. And I'm glad your promos made it all the way to Ireland. I always get worried when I'm shipping international stuff. Reverse Thunderbird. And the Norway guy, I shipped one to Norway too. Because the numbers are so different. Like the numbering and the provinces and all that shit looks so different when I'm filling it into the form on the USPS website. I'm always worried I put something in the wrong place or maybe the number's not right. So I'm glad all that stuff made it out to where it was going. Norway was a weird one too. And I always get weirded out when I ship something international and they have like 3 separate labels that you have to put on the package. I always worry about those too. Like what happens if one of the labels come off? Zookeeper Collectibles, thank you, bro. You and Charlie did a good interview. I felt like I had listened for half an hour and it ended. That's good that it went quick, that it seemed like it went quick, because it was long. Y'all were talking like old friends, good chemistry. Yeah, I really like him. Like I said, he's really easy to talk to. He is. He definitely has the gift of gab. He's a good talker. And hopefully one of these days at one of these conventions or something, I'll get to meet him. I'd love to get to meet him. No yapper. Momo. I know I've said this 1,000 times, but I'm super excited to see the first card that gets revealed. I can't wait to see what's in store for us as far as the new artwork, the new layout. Just I'm so curious to see just any detail about what this is going to look like. I can't wait to see the first card. And one of the follow-up questions that I wish I would have asked during the interview, but it seemed like he might not have answered this anyway, because like I said, I feel like some of the more specific elements of the questions he didn't want to answer, like to not make a false promise in case it didn't actually happen. But I wanted to follow up on the IP question with them in the continuity and continuing that original storyline. I wanted to follow up and say specifically like elements of the original Metazoo story, such as Sam Sinclair, such as Adam Ackler, such as Rose Robinson, like those unique to the Metazoo story human characters. I wanted kind of a specific answer as to whether or not those characters would still be included. But I guess I kind of got the vibe as we were exploring that topic that that was not a question that he would give a specific answer to, just based on his tone up until that point when it came to like really specific details. He was trying to avoid that, it seemed. But I wish I would have asked that anyway, just to see if he would say yes or no. We're keeping Sam Sinclair because he's kind of the main protagonist. Nick, what's your thoughts? I know he said cons, but do you think we get release events again like Salem and Roswell? I certainly hope so. I hope they come back to the Mothman Festival. I actually didn't end up going this year. Our plans kind of fell through. Me and Chris were planning on going together, and our plans kind of fell through. So I didn't go. But if Metazoo were there, I don't think I would have canceled that trip. I think he wanted to say Sam Sinclair ain't hitting baseballs no more, but stopped himself. And I also would say vaguely, I kind of got the impression from talking to Charlie on and off camera that some of the things that we really think we wanted, like War or Legacy, for example, I got the impression that maybe not as much of those sets had been completed as we were led to believe by Mike or previous ownership. I don't know how I don't know how close to finalized any of those sets really were at all. And I kind of got the impression that they just were totally not even close to being finished. And we got maybe a different idea from Mike. And I think another thing that Charlie said off camera that was a good point, and I'm not going to share anything that I think he wouldn't want me to share that we talked about off camera, but just a point that he made about something like war, for example. I thought he made a good point when he said the fans think they know what they want with war, but they don't even really know what war was supposed to be, in the sense that when we say war seemed cool and seemed exciting, we're saying the concept of having battle cards seemed exciting, because we really don't know what war was. I think the thing that we were just excited to see was cards featuring battle scenes of more than one cryptid, and what the rest of the set really was, we don't even know. I think we were really just excited about that concept of having more than one cryptid on one card. And even if we don't get war, what's to say we don't see battle cards in these new Metazoo sets? Just not the whole set being battles, but we'll still get, maybe we still get the battle cards just as random cards in the set. Because when we say war seemed exciting and we really wanted it, we don't really know exactly what war was going to be or what it even was. I think we're just saying we like the concept of having those battle cards. And I thought that was a good point. And I think you could kind of apply that same logic to the other stuff that we didn't get, like Legacy. We knew that it was kind of going to be like an homage to the previous sets, but we really didn't know what exactly was going to be in it, or what it was going to look like, or what really the point of it was, other than to be an homage to the older sets. And what's stopping them from doing that? Like, I guess the point is them continuing the roadmap to some extent doesn't have to be they're coming out with a war set. They're coming out with a legacy set. They're coming out with an SCP set. They could still continue that roadmap, just in a different sense. You could have SCP cards in a regular set. You could have legacy, homage, tribute cards in a regular set. You could have battle, war, multi-cryptid cards in a regular set. So the idea that to continue the roadmap, the new Metazoo has to have a set called War, or the new Metazoo has to have an SCP set, or the new Metazoo has to have a set called Legacy, just because they might not be doing those sets, doesn't mean they can't still continue incorporating those concepts into future products, which I think is a really fair point. Would be cool to work into a few different sets to support the story and the lore of that set. And they have all the art of war. If it really was art, you can see those sets and sets in the future. I think that would be cool as hell. And if it's not clear by now, because I don't think we specifically made this point in the interview, I just want to reiterate that it will still be called Metazoo. It will still be branded Metazoo. We didn't really touch on the Meta 2 thing, but it's really a non-fact. The Meta 2 thing is basically nothing. And we didn't specifically address that in the interview, which maybe I should have, but it's really just nothing. Meta 2 doesn't mean anything. It will still be Metazoo. That's what it will be going forward. I thought it was more important to touch on the GameCubator Labs connection right out of the gate than to even mention the Meta 2 thing, because it's such an insignificant part of the story. Catching Cryptid says, War was supposed to have all the top cryptids to date from all the sets, not just the battles. See, that's what they told us. But like I said, we really just had an idea of it in our minds. It sounds like none of this was ever fully completed or fleshed out. So what I'm saying is we just liked the idea of what war might be. We don't really even know what it was going to be. We've seen some, like we've definitely seen some artwork that was completed for war. We've definitely seen some battle scenes that looks like it had to have been specifically from war. But like I said, I get the impression that it wasn't close to being finished, and it seems like it would be kind of a non-starter for them to. And I think he even touched on that in the interview. I think he even made a comment about some of this stuff that you guys thought was close to finished or almost done really wasn't. No, the old game is not compatible with the new game. Charlie did mention that after we got off stream on the interview. He said, "Did we touch on that during the interview?" And I think he briefly mentioned something along those lines. But yes, we can say it's not. It will be a new game. It will not be compatible with the old cards. That we can say. But as far as like specific mechanics, tournaments, prizing, fourth wall, none of that stuff we can comment on. I don't know. Oh, he did say in the interview specifically that the old cards are irrelevant. Okay. Is there anything else that people either missed or don't be sorry. Is there anything else that people missed or a question that they wanted to be asked that wasn't asked? I figured a big piece of this would be people saying they wanted more questions about the gameplay, and I kind of explained that earlier in the stream. That was one of the topics that we couldn't get into, but we did discuss prior. So I knew gameplay would be something a lot of people had questions about, and I'm sure eventually we will get those answers. But was there anything else that we still need to touch on in maybe a future interview, or anything else that we need to elaborate a little bit further on? Because like even some of the stuff that I really wanted to know, like one of the things that I really wanted to know was the MSRP. I wanted to know, what is this new set going to cost? And it totally makes sense to me why they can't answer that right now, because they don't know for sure. And it's not like we're not going to find out eventually. We're going to find out how much it costs at some point. It's just a matter of when. But that was one of the questions I was really curious about. In Print Run 2, he was kind of vague on, I felt, but I guess he just made the point that they're going to really put a focus on not overprinting, which is good. But eventually I would like maybe something a little bit more specific about how big the run of these sets is going to be. Yeah, I've seen a couple people in this stream mention the skateboards. I'm curious about the skateboards as well. Nothing. That's a very good question, Raw Pranks. That's a fantastic question. And the answer is nothing. So Raw Prank says, what's stopping Metazoo 2.0 from just using the same art of a card from 1.0 and making it compatible with their gameplay? The answer to that question is nothing is stopping them. I don't know that they are going to do it, but they did get all the digital files, all the digital artwork. They have all of that. So 100%, if they wanted to take an OG Mothman artwork and put it in a new compatible card, they could. I would like to see, for this first set though, I would like to see some stuff in the same style as the first Metazoo, but I would like this first set to be a little bit more broad. I don't want them to reuse a bunch of cards in the first set. I want to see this new set to be like a proof of a new concept of, different art styles, experimenting with different rarities, experimenting with full arts, just experimenting with these different things and showing us like all these new visions that they have for new cryptids or new artwork for crypt. I really want the new set to just be new stuff. These are our new ideas, and I don't want to see them recycle a bunch of old artwork. At least in this first set, it would be cool if in future sets they sprinkled in some OG artwork as maybe like a chase card or just maybe a like an homage card to the past. Because, like I said, I don't think there is anything stopping them. They have all those digital files, but I really want the new set to be showing us new stuff, these new ideas that they have. But I do like the idea of future sets sprinkling in some new cards with the old artwork. I think that would be cool. But for the sake of continuity, I don't want the new set to be too different. So I still want there to be like some, watercolor, very simplistic, like this style of cryptid. I want there to be some of that just to kind of maintain that bridge from the old Metazoo to the new Metazoo. Because while a lot of people hated that artwork, I think a lot of people loved that vibe in that artwork, and that's kind of the appeal that Metazoo had to a lot of people. So for the sake of continuity, I would like to see some of that in the first set to carry some people over to this new Metazoo. But then also, I want to see these new ideas, these new concepts, these new art styles to get people excited about a new Metazoo and like a new vision. So I think they need kind of a mix of both, of a little bit of the old stuff to kind of, maintain that bridge and carry people over, but then show people this is what we can do better. This is what we can do different. This is our vision for this. This is our interpretation of this. I want to see different new concepts, but then some stuff that looks familiar. You know what I mean? We are our own worst enemies. They shouldn't even tell us print runs. Yeah, that's a fair point, dude. We don't necessarily need to know the print runs, and I think that's a fair point. Just out of morbid curiosity, I would like to know, just for comparison's sake, to the old Metazoo. But we really don't need to know. I'm really curious how they'll get their print runs down. We saw with CN1 25K wasn't enough, and boxes shot up to $1,000. People got pissed, then overprinted, interested. See, what I'm curious about is, are they opposed to printing to demand? Like Blitzen, like Pokemon does. I wonder if that could be their strategy. If their main answer to the question was, we're not going to overprint, I think the main way to do that would be printing to demand. But who knows? That's what he said he was going to do. Did he specifically say in the interview print to demand? I don't remember him saying that. 25K is too little, 100K is too much, but with the way Charlie speaks about it, he wants to go global. These numbers are so small in comparison to the big boys. Oh, okay. Zeke said he did say that. I didn't remember him explicitly saying that. Maybe he did. He hinted at that, yes. He said we won't be overprinting. That's all I remember him saying was we won't be overprinting. I don't know if that means print to demand though. He said during the holidays if they needed more. Oh, did he say that? Okay. Zeke says that he said during the holidays if they needed more they would just print more. It wouldn't take long with their printers. Okay, I guess he did say that. Yeah, you're right. Oklahoma Octopus. Werewolf of Defiance. Actually, let me see. I can just show you guys. I should still have my list of questions that I sent to him, and I can just tell you guys what got cut from that. Because that's not really oversharing anything, because most of these are questions that you guys asked anyway. So I can just tell you guys the stuff that he couldn't answer in that interview. Let me see if I can find the list that I sent him. I just won't share his response of why we can't talk about certain like specifics of why some things can't be addressed yet. So we cut out. Yeah, that's basically it. We basically covered it. Really, there are only 2 bullet points that got cut out, and we just talked about both those things for the majority of this stream. Question number 5, which was gameplay questions, and then it was a bunch of specific questions about the gameplay. That obviously got cut. And 6, question number 6 was product or existing product questions. That also got cut, talking specifically about the inventory. And I think part of the reason for this, I think I can say this too, I don't think the process is fully finished yet. I don't think they have all the inventory yet. They own it, but I don't think all of it has been turned over yet, is my my understanding. So I think that might be the main reason they're not speaking too much on that yet. I don't think they've gotten everything yet. Was there anything else that I had in here that and then I had a bunch of other stuff in there, like when we were talking about the base set. I had a bunch of like really specific questions about like will Mothman appear in the base set? Like I was asking about specific cards, I was asking about specific rarities, and stuff like that got cut. And I think probably some of it is they want to leave a little bit of mystery, but I think the other part of it is they don't fully know what every cryptid will be in that set. So it was more just ultra specific stuff. And I had questions in there too, like that a lot of you guys asked about the red borders. Are the backs going to be the same? Like questions about the specific layout of the cards, stuff like that. And again, I don't think that is fully finalized either. So I think that's why they didn't address that piece of it as well. But I had all that stuff in there. Are you selling your Mothman? Which moth? The one I just pulled tonight? No. I'll be sending it to... actually, I might send it to BGS. I don't have a BGS 10 of any Metazoo card, actually. Lightning Split. Hopefully we pull a Mothman from this Nightfall box, though. Oh, thanks for the update, Menace. Menace says congrats to everyone that picked up some Nightfall tonight. They're sold out now on Event HQ. Damn, that was quick. I've still got a nice little stash of Nightfall, but that is definitely one of the things that I want to continue having on hand to open for future streams. So even if I think there's a little bit of risk in picking up old product with all the stuff that I mentioned earlier about the printers, I think just from a sheer enjoyment standpoint, First Edition and Nightfall are probably my two favorites. So I want to have some Nightfall on hand just to have some stream fodder to open. Green Star World says, kind of sounded like he confirmed that blood is definitely never going to be shown. I don't know. Never say never. What if you told Charlie to change the name from Metazoo to Freaky Zoo? I will say I saw a lot of comments after that stream saying it's time for me to officially change my channel to Nick Strength and Metazoo. The main reason I have it as Nick Strength and Pokemon is just kind of for continuity with my other channel. A lot of people call me NSP because my other channel is Nick Strength and Power, and I wanted this channel to also be NSP. But I will say, if they really knock this out of the park and they really deliver on this base set, and this new Metazoo looks very promising, and they start to deliver on some of these bigger things like the animated series, like just any of this bigger stuff, I will change the channel name if they deliver on these, these big key things. If it really looks promising, I'm going to go balls deep 100% Nick Strength and Metazoo. Oh, that must be the I haven't opened it yet, bro. Only fantasy cards. That must be the package I've got in the other room. I'll do a separate stream where I open that. I did get it. I do have it. I just haven't opened it yet. Only Fantasy Card sent me a nice Mothman sketch art card. Thank you, bro. I appreciated that. You're going to cheat on Pokemon. I'll still do Pokemon openings here and there, but I think if Metazoo makes like a legitimate strong comeback, I'm going to be opening up a lot of Metazoo. I think it'll be an exciting time if Metazoo really delivers. Because like I said, I think there is going to be a big wave of FOMO and excitement between now and the release date for that new set. And I think if they knock that first set out of the park, that excitement is going to continue. And I think Metazoo will have at the very least, a temporary comeback. And I think I'll be making a lot of Metazoo videos during that time period if that happens. Open Surging Sparks is such a good set. I've heard people say that, but I haven't opened up like the last, I don't know, the last 6 sets of Pokemon. I don't even know how many I've missed now. Yeah, I just mentioned that. That was one of the questions that I had that was just too specific for them to touch on. Caspian. You forgot to ask what the border color was going to be. I thought you're going to treat the Crypted Camp Mothman with the same respect as a Pokemon Evolutions Beedrill. Nah. I mean, it was still cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't have any animosity towards Bailey or towards Crypted Camp. I just think it's dead. It's just dead in the water. I really think that they thought Metazoo, there was no way it was going to come back. And they, like I said, I think they thought there was going to be a gap in the market. People that like cryptids wanted a cryptid card game, and without Metazoo, Crypted Camp would fill that gap. But I think now that Metazoo is 100% coming back and coming out with a new set that's not a Kickstarter, I think they're just kind of dead in the water. I think they had a shot when we didn't know that Metazoo was coming back. I will say that. But then I started to see some of the artwork. I didn't really like the way they interpreted the cryptids, and hopefully that same thing doesn't happen with the new Metazoo. Like the way they interpreted Mothman and Cryptid Camp, I kind of hated it, and I hope they don't go like down a really weird route with the new Metazoo with their different interpretation of these cryptids, because that Mothman I honestly think looks so terrible. But it was still kind of cool, don't get me wrong, to pull a prototype Mothman from any card game. Like I said, nothing against them. I think the idea is no longer a relevant idea because Metazoo's back. And like I said, the girl that Bailey is partnered with that's doing this Cryptid Camp with him, her name's Erica. She seems really, really nice. I don't know much about her, but the interactions that I've had with her, she seems really nice, and nothing against her. And I think maybe some of this was more of her idea than his, and he was kind of more influential with like the printing and stuff. But she seems really nice. I know people have their opinions on Bailey, but it's not just him behind Cryptid Camp. I don't think any of these new cryptid games will make it. Metazoo was special. I agree, Noah. Indrid Cold. They're posting all these partnerships while out in China. Seems scammy. Blitzen says, stop. It's crap, period. Okay. I will not glaze Cryptid Camp. I'm just trying to be fair to him. I do think a big chunk of people just hate Bailey. And I think because of their hatred for Bailey, they hate Cryptid Camp by default. I'm just saying, aside from Bailey, I think it's a bad idea just in general. And then the other people involved, maybe not as disliked as Bailey is. They have more cabins than cryptids. I'm honestly very curious to see what that prototype Mothman sells for. I think it's up to $35 now. Actually, do I have it over here somewhere? I could show it. Let me see. I might have it. Let me see what I got here. Yeah, see, I don't know if this is supposed to be like a reverse hollow because only the border is hollow. But there was a proto pack and a proto pack 2. And they had, I don't know if it was just a different style of hollow for a different pack. But I think the Mothman would look pretty cool, even though I hate this artwork for Mothman. I think if it had that same like full card hollow like the Bunny Man has, it would look pretty cool with the purples and the blacks to have that as a full hollow. But again, it is kind of like a Metazoo clone in the sense that like the hollow is very similar, and they did a similar thing. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. But like with the custom foiling, they've got like a little campfire in the star foiling, which is like what Metazoo did with Nightfall with the skulls and the bats and stuff. So they're kind of taking a lot of the same ideas from Metazoo. But yeah, that's the Mothman. I don't know how you guys feel about this artwork from Mothman. I didn't like it. Honestly, I didn't mind this Bunny Man artwork. I don't think it's that terrible. But like again, like the UFO themes. I mean, this looks like a Literally looks like a Metazoo artwork. It looks like something Metazoo would put out. And the cabins, I mean, the red border. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and cancel my Nom Nom Kickstarter pledge. I'm starting to feel like I'm never going to get those booster boxes that I pledged for on the Kickstarter. I'm kind of thinking about just canceling it and trying to get a refund. I kind of feel like Nom Nom doesn't seem as bad as Crypted Camp. I think they've been very bad with their deadlines. But I think they're kind of dead in the water too. And I was kind of wondering, again, with these specifics, he wasn't really answering. Like, he wasn't going to tell me which artists are coming back, but I'm kind of wondering, Victor did a lot of artwork for Metazoo. He was a big part of the early days of Metazoo art, and Victor's the guy that created Nom Nom. I kind of wonder if he's going to come back to Metazoo in any capacity and do artwork, or if he's just solely focused on Nom Nom. Because if he is coming back and doing Metazoo cards, I think that's even furthering the death of Nom Nom, so I doubt he would do that. But Laura says Nom Nom sounds sus. I agree. Blitzen said that Mothman looks like a sick mosquito. I have a feeling Poncho will be back. Again, I don't know. None of this has been confirmed to me or told to me by Charlie, but I have a feeling Poncho will be. And I think these repercussions of Metazoo coming back, I think they're going to expand to all these other indie TCGs that hired a bunch of Metazoo artists, not just Crypted Camp. I think, no shade to any of these other TCGs. They all have their strong points and they all have their weaknesses. But I think very clearly a lot of these new indie TCGs were very clearly targeting the Metazoo fan base. Again, kind of trying to target a gap in the market. These Metazoo fans no longer have Metazoo. Let's give them a new place to go, a new game to buy. So they brought on those artists to these different games. Let's be real, hoping that the Metazoo fan base would follow those artists to the new game. And I think that now that Metazoo's coming back, and they essentially said they are bringing back those artists, I think that's also going to reverberate amongst all those other indie TCGs. And I think it's going to really make those fizzle out as well. Now that Metazoo is filling the gap that a lot of other indie TCGs tried to fill. And I think now that it's coming back, it's not a good look for them. What's up, Brandon? How's it going, dude? They stole my dang ship. This is Escape Alien. All right, after this Nightfall box, we'll do another horse race, and then I'm going to end the stream. I think I'm actually going to go to sleep, which is kind of early for me. I'm tired today, man. I'm good, man. Brandon, did you have a chance to check out the interview yet? Prism Beam. Nick is weak sauce. I'm definitely not as good as I'm definitely a night owl, but I'm not as good as staying up as Laura is. Laura is the queen of staying up all night. Even with the time difference, she stays up crazy hours. Greg says Laura is chirp looking for a Tilly. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that's Irish slang. Born from the earth. Not a single Mothman from this box. How crazy would that be if we get last pack magic on this Nightfall box? Get a Mothman out of the last pack like we did with Crypted Nation. Nope. A Wood Devil. All right, so the next giveaway, let's do something different here. So I gave away a slab. Let's give away one of the new signed promos. And I am going to send in a submission to Beckett and CGC to get this to get my signature in their database. If you wanted to authenticate them with Beckett or CGC, you'll be able to. I just still have to send them out. Let's see. Let's get a nice looking one. There we go. That one looks nice and clean. All right, so piece of paper. Well, I'll try to get some people in this one that weren't in the last one. So let's do Green Star World. I don't think you've been in one. Let's throw Civic in here. LSM 42. Phantom Knight, I got you, bro. Let me throw Only Fantasy in here, since I've got your address from that package now. You don't even have to send me it. I don't know why I just put... I don't know what I just wrote here. I don't know what I put between the S and the Y in fantasy. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, let's do Brandon, got you. All right. All right, for the signed card. Gentlemen, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, reset that. One more time. Gentlemen, 3, 2, 1, go. Number 1 slot, Green Star World, my dude, the white horse. Congrats. I don't think Green Star has ever won or even ever entered a horse race. Congratulations, bro. Just shoot me your address. I think me and you have emailed back and forth. If you're the same person, I think you are. So just email me. Green Star. All right. Cool, guys. So as always, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one, and I'll keep you guys posted. Any new information, anything new that I can share with you guys, it'll be right here on the channel. So make sure you guys subscribe and stay tuned. And if you guys have not checked out the interview, please go check it out. I'm sure you guys will, if you have not watched it, I'm sure you'll learn something new in that interview if you're a Metazoo fan. So thank you guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.